of a song of Agapias' fortune. I had to remember to hit the record button. And we're going to go around, let my wonderful friends introduce themselves, say who they're playing, and say one thing that they are questioning about today. What burning question do they or their character have for today? So why don't we start with uh, the wonderfully fabulous Chris. Hey Chris, how you doing? How you feeling? How's life going for you?
Hey, things are okay. I'm Chris Geary, and I'm playing Javier the Begarale, a priest of Vestru and member of a secret order of monks from Iraba. And his biggest question right now is um, like what it's been the lich's presence has been around for 30-ish years, and so his biggest question is like how much damage has actually been done since this was covered up and left to um left to its own devices.
Interesting, interesting. Let's to next up the wonderful fabulous Lynn. Hey Lynn, hope you're feeling better. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, yeah, feeling much better. Yeah, excited to be playing with everyone to see. Hopefully, I don't think it. I think our luck on it being uneventful is maybe run out. We'll see. We have had two so far good things, but we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I'm Lynn. Then tonight I'm playing Fiorella Barrel Ember, the glamour bard, arts in residence in Tenerique. Possible she's gonna get married at some point. Hopefully, if this lich stuff does, we've already sent out the invitations, and we'll see where that goes. And I think what she is wondering at this point is uh whether or not it's true. It was brought up in conjecture with her friends, but how much does this lich actually have to do with her? Was it just like stabs in the dark by her party friends, or is there actually something tied in there somehow? She really doesn't want to be like end up being tied to a lich. So hopefully it's not that.
Indeed. Well, that could be a concern. Jump over to directly above Lynn on the overlay. Pope. Hey Pope, how you feeling? How's life going for you? What you doing?
Just too much. Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope Robo on Twitter, Pope Robo on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams, and it's great to be back with the Agapia crew playing Band vs. the Gray. Both of us use he/him pronouns, and I have too many questions, but I guess the most pressing is: will we get out of selling without having to, commit violence?
That is a question that would require me to open the question to chat. Hey chat, what do you think the odds are of Vandabris and Tibian getting out of Salling without, you know, committing violence? Give me the over under. Well, we get to PB. Hey PB, how you doing? How you feeling? How's life going for you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to be playing Tibian tonight. Tibian Van Tuinen, who is a halfling monk, who is honestly just always happy to be on an adventure. Um, we both use she/they pronouns, and I am wondering if we are going to. You know what? Here's my question. PB's question. PB is wondering what we're gonna find in Godelda when we end up there. Tibian's question would be, I wonder if that high druid in Godelda is hot. I've heard they're hot, but I wonder if they're hot. That is that's Tibian's question right now, you know? That's her burning question.
That's her burning question. I think, the answer to that might be complicated. Who defines attractiveness? What your general taste, right? That could be a thing. However, if you want to know and you're following along in chat, you can follow along with the NPC doc and make your determination of the High Druid, who is a Circle of Spores Druid, Halfling. They are, I believe... Nope. Wrong. Ooh, wait. Where are they?
Oh, on the thing.
Yeah, they should be in the...
Oh, they're on 10, I think.
Oh.
Rothade, High Druid of the Godelda Halflings, number 10.
Yeah, Rothade. There we go. I was like, where is she? I know where.
There's a lot. There's almost 60 of them. So.
And for some reason, she's not in my list. Oh, no, there she is. She's in the different number. Yeah, there we go. Rothade. Yes. Okay. So the answer would be you as players and people at home can determine that as you choose. But we are going to dive back into our story, into this song of Agapia's fortune. This world we call Agapia is both old and new at the same time. There are layers of habitation and ruins and peoples who have lived, loved, and died in cycles indeterminate upon this planet. People we talk about now are the, well, inhabitants of the continent of Endios. Survivors, well, descendants of survivors of the sundering, the destruction of the continent of Arabia by a cabal of evil wizards and their, well, servants? Really, I'm sure if you're saying that you've compelled a number of chromatic dragons to act as your violent intercessors, I don't know that servant is the right word. But this is the world in which we live. This is the world in which these characters experience and have life. We are going to dive into Godelda, where at the end of last session, beginning of that day, Theo had teleported Javi to Godelda because Javi has a friend there, one might say, right? Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, actually, Rothade.
Yes, Rothade. Godelda is home to one of the three major halfling populations. There's Godelda, there's Elfrin, and then there's Sikel. The Godelda and Elfrin halflings are closer in that they are well known for large druidic populations, differing in how they see the world and how they treat engage with the certain natural environments that they have, but by and large very earthbound. The Sikel halflings are more creatures of the sea and the changing tides and the, well, to quote a much better bard than I, a wine dark sea that reflects the eyes of the gods themselves. But Godelda is half large plains at the base of the mountains of Noviger, leading into the Oktan and Utakan territories, and half forested swampland. The basin of all of this mountain runoff from the mountains of Noviger and southern Varum. Been to South Georgia, anybody? The Okefenokee? A large body of water, trees, old, gnarled, weaving into each other, or rising out of the water in ways that you look and you go, the roots don't even seem to live on land. They just emerge out, gnarled and twisted out of the water. Heavy mosses hang from the trees. It's hot. It's humid. It smells not quite as bad as the East River in summer, but let's be honest, nothing as bad as the East River in summer. And if you live in New York, you understand. But this dark, heavy swamp, heat, humidity, you stand outside too long and your hair just frizzes. You feel like you could cut the air itself. There's another scent on the air. Spice. Peppers. Godelda is also home to a particular breed of chili pepper, known for its healing properties, in addition to its spice and Scoville scale. Picture something close to an ancho or, nice chipotle. Good solid heat there, but can't really be domesticated, or at least not outside of the control of the Godelda halflings. Rothaid is the current high druid of their population. They kind of are what we would term as quasi-nomadic, in the sense that they have cycle homesteads based on seasons. When the weather is too wet, they move closer to the plains, closer to Noviger in the north and the west. When it dries out a little, they move further into the swamp. And if they don't want to be found, you will never find them in that swamp. So, but Javi, you know Rothaid. Striking halfling woman that she is.
Mhm.
Long, dark hair, dark eyes. Stands a very striking 3 feet 3 inches tall. And carries a gnarled staff of cypress that seems to be both alive and not at the same time. Blooming occasionally, but also very large fan fungus kind of emerges from it at points. So the question, I guess, is, Theo, have you ever been to Godelda?
No, I don't think so, because I think Fia was when Javi brought it up. It's like, oh, I've never been there. Why haven't I been there? There seems to be a lot of things, and we teleport here, and she remembered why, and I think she recalls maybe something said about Tibian saying something about plants of some sort, and there are a lot of plants, and she's not exactly sure if this is the right region, but there's a lot of these gross plants here, so I mean, yeah, She's never been here before. And she is fortunate she had her flying boots because she is not walking. She is floating about like a good healthy 2 or 3 feet above the swamp. Between that and like whatever canopy thing there is.
Yeah. So Javi would have been the one directing your teleportation then. So Javi, you know where Rothaid, the circle that Rothaid usually remains in. It's kind of in a center-ish location of this swamp. Closer to like the furthest north in the center point of this swamp, probably if you want me to move you right where I put west of the Wallabo border, south of Novigur, but kind of like more central into the territory. And her home is a bastion of light and color, and that kind of just perpetuates this greenery. Somehow she's managed to weave an entire house out of bougainvillea and floating vines. And for those of you who don't know what bougainvillea is, bougainvillea is a very pretty plant when it can be controlled and grow on a wall. But in certain areas, it can overtake things and it can get to, stems and root systems about like 6 to 8 inches across. And it can pull down walls, kind of like kudzu, except it blooms in this very beautiful purple fuchsia coloring flower. It also smells divine.
You're also forgetting a very important point. How pointy it is.
Oh yes, it's very pointy. It has thorns. It's beautiful. It's deadly. Well, it's not deadly. But is hers is the question. Beautiful, but if you get too close to it, it will stab you with thorns about 1.5 inches long. They are not small. And you cannot, to get rid of it is a pain in certain places. But she has woven this house out of bougainvillea to kind of along a floating platform that kind of floats with the tides of the swamp. Usually in the same general location, but you know, she can move it if she wishes to. And she's well known for taking very little bullshit, but being very welcoming to those she likes. And those she doesn't like, look, Druidcraft is a great spell. Druidcraft on somebody's artery system is a horrible way to go. But at least you lift a beautiful corpse. So, Javi. You probably didn't arrive immediately on top of her house because Theo doesn't know where that is.
Yeah.
Maybe a half mile outside, to look for her, but it's not hard to find if you know what you're doing. This round, kind of, sort of circular abode, kind of just lets the kind of the blooms of the bougainvillea determine the shape of the house. It can be seen floating in the middle of this heavy gnarled dark cypress trees and heavy pine. Also smelled, because bougainvillea you can smell like miles away. It smells really pretty, actually. But the question is, what do you do?
I will follow basically the rites and rituals that I learned when I studied under Rothed for almost a decade, to learn their approach to death cycles and life cycles, and enter into the heart of her circle accordingly.
So, could you go ahead and roll me religion with advantage?
Sure.
Oh, Coldrake says smells pretty from far away. I can't imagine living in the center of such a strong aroma. Bougainvillea isn't actually, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those scents that's like lemon, right? Like it, even if it's strong, it's not overpowering. So with a 26, you know and remember the appropriate rights to announce yourself and present yourselves. Rothade would come out in a kind of um, in a long flowing caftan kind of garment, black with silver and green, very, very olive green embroidery. Kind of looks like a patina almost on the silver until you realize that there are two different threads that have been embroidered together through the heavy blacks that kind of flow around her. And she will smile in greeting to you and greet you in passable Elvish. Her Elvish is, well, not bad, but it's like her fourth language, so, you know.
He will smile and return her greeting in halfling.
Well, it has indeed been a while, sir. Welcome. And your friend, kind of like glancing at this human. How are you dressed, Theo?
Theo, I think knowing what generally realizing what the temperate nature of the place. So it's more or less it's her traveling gear. So it's there's not as much like flowing stuff on there. There's not much flowing fabric. It's fairly tighter. Like it doesn't have like it's sleeveless. She has that thing where like Isabella in Dragon Age 2, where it's like the high like hip, yeah, like it's that sort of like tall boots and that sort of thing. It's a nice little outdoor. It's as outdoory as she'll get dressed up for. It's still super fancy.
Okay. So as Rafade will greet you, Javi, and you brought a friend. As she kind of looks up slightly, doesn't tilt her neck, but looks up at Theo because Theo is both taller than her and floating off the ground.
Yeah. Javi will respond with yes. May I introduce you to Fiorella Barrelumber, the artist in residence in Tenerife, and if all goes accordingly, the new Duchess of the Southern Duchy of Vroom.
Theo will do the thing of where knowing that like she's kind of like a lot higher and she'll kind of like she'll hover above the ground and just kind of like bow, and it's like, pleasure to be in your presence. Hi, Druid.
Well, it's nice to see you have manners. Why don't you come on in? We can get you something to eat. You looking a bit piqued. You look also like this is going to be a conversation where I should perhaps be imbibing something other than, water. As she kind of turns back to Javi.
Unfortunately, yes.
Then why don't y'all come inside? And she'll kind of lead you into this again, this space, and while the flowers bloom on the outside, on the inside there's almost like shiplap, like the width of the bougainvillea is thick enough that it can look like almost shiplap on the walls, and you can see a number of various uh, or shelves that are kind of open shelves with various jars and canisters and things, herbs hanging from the center of the ceiling. The Javi, well, Theo, if you're still floating, you will have to duck occasionally because things will hit you in the head.
Yeah, I think once we're out of like, you know, possibly unsteady grounds, she'll walk.
I mean, you're on a deck, not unsteady ground, but good.
Yeah, I mean it's not
mud.
Walking in like hip deep like swamp water, so that's
yeah, fine. It's not swamp water. It's like a platform kind of.
Yeah, oh that's fine. That's perfectly.
It's the perfect kind of houseboat kind of vibe.
Nice.
Only thing that would make it better would be like a faux grass turf on the outside for the chairs. But there's a number. There are a couple. Yeah, exactly. Faux turf does not work for druidcraft. You could make regular grass.
Regular. It's just like sod.
Yeah, it's just sod. Should I consider that? But you have, as you come in there, she would gesture to a slightly like little sitting area off to one side and bring over a jug, like a jug, like a big old brown jug that is clay and it's heavy. She pops the cork on it, and you don't even have to like get any closer. You can smell the alcohol come off of this, and she'll pour you like each like little juice glasses, none of which match. They're all the same relative size, but they don't really match. And she'll pour you each one and kind of sit and, gesture. The chairs are all bent living bamboo and twisted in the right way to provide support and comfort, like the perfect Adirondack chair. Little cushions that feel just the right level of softness to kind of buffet any sharp points on the grown chairs. And there are like 6 of them, and like a little love seat, a couple little other chairs, a seating area for 6. And she'll hand those out and like take one of, just kind of sit in one of the chairs, and you realize that there really isn't a chair that seems to be more delineated than others. She just kind of sits in whichever one she feels like, and picks up one of these juice glasses and is like, sips it. Like, all right, now hit me with the bad shit.
Well, if you remember when I left last, I was headed north to Novigrad, and I had informed you that there was an undead problem involving a lich that I was going in to clean up some of the aftermath of. Well, we've recently learned that Varum, who claimed to have dispatched the lich and its primary forces, someone amongst them never actually dispatched the lich, and it has been amassing power for the last 30 years.
All right, so let me understand this. If she kind of like takes a longer sip. Y'all saying we got an undead abomination as my northern border and my northern neighbor? I do not like this.
Which is why I wanted to make sure that you were informed. We are dispatching a force from multiple groups, multiple countries, in order to increase transparency and hopefully accountability this time around. We're afraid that the lich might be part of also a larger issue. I don't know how much you were informed of the goings on at the Vasava event where the crown
Y'all mean
prince.
we're a bunch of undead attacked
Yeah.
a small little party and turned the crown prince into a meat puzzle? Good job in bringing him back from the dead, though.
Exactly
Yeah.
that.
Thank you. Yes. We're afraid it's all related. And the group behind that is actually trying to invoke the same powers that shattered the last continent.
Well, that seems most unpleasant. I do not. She pauses, takes another sip of her drink. You know, someday you might come to visit and bring more positive, smiley news.
I will make that a priority.
Don't put yourself out too much there, sugar. So, what do y'all need from me? I'm assuming you don't want, me to make Lich's heart start to sprout roses. I guess we could do that if we wanted. Be a fashion statement, at least.
Well, one was to inform you all so you were not left in the dark of such a negative presence so close to your home.
I do appreciate that.
And two was to offer to you all any opportunity to have representatives as part of our party that's headed that direction, both for transparency, but also to leverage any of the powers in which you and your followers possess. While making a lich's heart bloom may not be necessarily the most effective way to combat it, the, shall we say, command of the living and natural world is still a mighty force to reckon with, especially over things that are undead.
Alright, then. Well, what can I. And, she pauses, kind of like cracks her neck a little bit, looks at you consideringly. Alright, then. Why don't we get you some things that you're gonna need? Let's say.
I would be grateful for anything you wish to provide.
Seems like you might need some pickled peppers to take with you.
Well, we will be traveling, and anything to make the food in which we have that much better would be lovely.
The other kind of peppers, sugar.
Oh.
The ones.
Sorry.
Those peppers. Yes.
I do love the cuisine here.
I promise to make sure you get something to take home with you. Now, we weren't planning to leaving too much tonight because we're gonna have food, right? We're staying for dinner.
Of course. I would never insult you by not staying for dinner.
Well, Feel will look at Javi and just kind of like do the sip and just kind of give him like a smile and kind of like side-eyed him a little bit.
As you sip the alcohol, you will realize, although it burns your nostrils, it does not burn your throat. It is smooth. Clear.
So speaking of cuisine, what is this delightful drink? It is wonderful.
Oh, that's just shine. Make it myself. A little bit of, well, some of the mosses you walked by, some of the pepper. Well, not those kind of peppers, those other peppers over there. And a very nice combination of bougainvillea nectar out of the house. Usually it'll cure most anything that ails you, and if it doesn't, well, waft it on somebody's nose, it'll definitely revive the dead.
Well, I mean, it may do those things, but it's fantastic on its own.
Want some take with you, sugar?
I'd be delighted.
Alright. Well then, I might be able to know. I know somebody who might be willing to go with you if you are willing to take, say, some advice or assistance.
You you know me well. I'm always open to the experiences of others.
I think it might be to advantage at this point if my niece's grandbaby goes with you. She's a Lorelei is a right good at smelling out things that are turned the wrong way, shall we say.
That would be most excellent.
Also very good at most things related to animals. Spoiling of such is one of her favorite things to do. But my niece's grandbaby, she's real good at that. I think it would be appropriate then that I'll introduce her to you. And you kind of like see her glance off to the side for a moment. And then glance back at you. She'll be around after supper. And then she'll look at Theo. It's like, I know about him, but y'all eat meat, right? You're not one of those weird people that turn away at a good steak, right?
How be it of me to deny myself the pleasures of the world, so.
Oh, good, because there was somebody who came around the other day who was talking about preaching to the poor and about how we should be more engaged with the world and its life cycle and reject the ingestion of meat products as they were harmful to our existence. And to which I said, would you like me to introduce you to my pigs? He did not seem to enjoy the experience, and I do not understand why. Good. Well then, we'll have dinner. We'll make sure things are ready for you. Lorelei will go with you, and if I start seeing a giant army of undead descending on us, from the north, I'll assume that y'all died horribly and pray for your souls in the second iteration of the existence. As I light everything around you on fire.
I expect nothing less.
If we do die, can you do that rose thing to Lich's heart just to make that one last final gesture?
Well, I was planning on doing that anyways. You want me to teach you? It's real. It looks real pretty. And she kind of like gestures with a hand, and you can see rose thorns and a very thorny, long, thin rose start to grow from just this little bowl on the side table, and it kind of starts twisting around the bowl and like making like a knot of thorns and weaving together, almost like Maleficent wove together the vines and thorns around Sleeping Beauty's castle in that Disney movie. And then she you see it kind of twist around the bowl, and then slowly it kind of begins to envelop the bowl until you can't see any more of the bowl left, and then you just hear as the pressure from the thorns shatters the wooden bowl underneath.
Oh, that is interesting.
It's real fun to do with folk that are dead already. There's a pause there. I don't recommend doing it to people that you like as they're alive.
Duly noted.
Uh, so as you are going to descend into a wonderfully fine cooked, uh, well, gumbo, um, for dinner, we are gonna pan over to Bandibris and Tibian as they were about, left we're leaving the magnificent mansion and hearing the howls of the Elorus around you.
Um, I take one last look at Bandibras as he closes the door behind us as me and the two brothers walk out. And again, we're not trying to be stealthy.
Mm-mm.
We're just trying to see the temperament of this party that is sniffing around.
Um, roll me in insight, like intuition. No, you want insight.
34.
Very nice. Um, you can hear the howls of the Elusa as they and but you don't see any of them nearby.
Mhm.
But as you listen for a moment and kind of try and gauge, you can hear them circling almost. Like there's a line that they're not crossing.
Oh.
Like if you ever seen a dog with on an invisible leash or invisible fence, and there's a rabbit right beyond the edge of the invisible fence line, and the dog knows where the line is, knows as far as it can go and can't cross it, and just keeps pacing back and forth because it's keeping eye contact on that rabbit. It knows exactly where it is.
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Total uh-huh. Okay. So, all right. So, as I'm walking with the brothers, um uh I would describe myself not as meandering with purpose, meandering in the way that I don't know where I'm going, because I don't know this place.
Mm-hmm.
But walking with, purpose of like, I should be here,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something you perfect after a while. And as we're walking, I look up at the older brother and I ask, is this normal behavior for them or
Imin is like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of the Lusa and seen them like once or twice, but we don't any kind of gestures between him and Bossery and then kind of around us like we aren't really into the casting of the magics. I like to stab things
probably smart?
repeatedly.
Okay, so okay. Have you heard any stories? And I'll start like walking towards um like I just like I go farther and farther towards like where this line could be. I don't go too far, probably not like I would say I wouldn't let the door more than uh probably 300 to 600 feet behind me. So I'll just like almost like how the dogs are circling. I will also do sort of a similar thing around um a random direction where I hear the dogs. um sniffing about. So I'll just walk around like that area, that perimeter, trying to like get a gauge, get an eye out for even just seeing one of these dogs.
Roll me a perception.
Beast dogs, dog beast. Perception. Hold on. One second. Read. I know I wrote it somewhere. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, just making sure that I remembered how my things work. I do have it. Natural 20, 29.
Yep, 29. 29 works. You look up, and as you're looking around, you can see movement. And it's subtle, very subtle at first. And then you realize what looks like a just this small little twitch of what could be sand, and then it shifts just a little bit. You see a very obviously canine face, but there's something off. The ears are a little too round as they stand up from the edge of the head. The snout is a little shorter, but you kind of see this shift in teeth. They're a little too long, slightly curved canines that kind of come round and down. The fur is speckled, dark, levels of browns and whites and grays, spots of black, perhaps. Picture a cross between an African wild dog and a saber-toothed tiger. And there's this virile intelligence kind of scanning, tracking. They seem to know where you are and know that you can see them. They prick forward the ears a little. They move independently. And they shift the shoulders, and you can see this row of spikes down the middle of the back of the spine, ending in a tail that kind of whips around with these barbed points at the edge of it, kind of shifting and swaying, shifting and swaying. Cocks its head. It is at once both beautifully cute and horribly, no, that's a predator, it will eat me. But then you see the very large, thick, heavy leather collar that encircles the neck. And I mean by heavy and thick, I mean like 3-4 inches wide around the neck. You realize you do the math mentally quickly in your head, and this animal stands. Well, the shoulder of this animal is taller than you are, Tibian.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah, but you know, it's perhaps maybe close to 4.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and wide, stocky, but fast. You're pretty sure that this thing could probably take out a man at a run, definitely, but definitely could also take out something like a wolf is probably not going to have a good day with one of these. But they are not. They seem to know exactly roughly where you are, but can't get any closer. And you don't see anything that looks like a handler of any kind. With a 29, you also would know that there are like, or 39, excuse me, right? Or 29.
29.
29.
Than that.
29, you can't really see anything that looks like a handler, but you do make out 6 of these large friends.
Under my breath, you hear, and the boys will probably hear me say, yes, a steak will take care of these, no problem. And I will look at the boys and I'll say, I would like to try to pass this invisible barrier. However, I would like to also not be in immediate danger if all 6 of them decide to come running at us. Um, and I look at Emin
Mm-hmm.
and I say, "You said you were stealthy, correct?"
I can be very stealthy, actually.
I would like if you could return back to the others and inform them of what we have seen, as Basri and I, take a little bit of a trip across this invisible barrier, at least a step or two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you sure you'll be alright by yourselves? And he directs that at Basri, not you. It's not like you can immediately get the impression that he's not worried about you. He's kind of worried about his little brother.
That's fair. That's valid. And I'll look at Basri. And it is up to you. I will not force you to do anything you are not comfortable with.
He kind of looks like, no, I'm going to go with you and it'll be great and, it'll be fine.
Not that I know a great death cleric. And I say I will walk a little, I'll look at the Basri and I will say, all right, let's take a little trip then. And let's walk a little slow. Give your brother a little bit of time to get back to the others.
Okay, so for my clarification, GM clarification, you would like Imin to go back to the Magnificent Mansion and tell people there to do what?
I would like to inform them about the situation of what we have seen. That there are 6 large dogs outside, seemingly walking a perimeter around something, around probably us. And that Basri and I are going to test this border and see if they will attack us non-magic users. Because if so, then Tibian and myself will feel comfortable being like, all right, everyone else could walk out and get out of here. All the caravan, and then then we could deal with the Bandiverse issue once everybody else is safe and out of here. So that is what Tibian wants. Tibian wants Emin to go back, tell them 6 dogs around the perimeter. Basri and I are walking across the border to see if they will attack non-users. But keep an eye out if we do, because I will run like hell. I won't fucking Basri. I will assist Basri in running like hell back towards them if there is a fight. So just be ready. Smile.
Cool. So Emin needs to make a roll. I has to do.
I think hanging out with a bunch of arcane casters does not like interfere with anything. I'm Tibian saying You hang out pretty much with the only casters right now. Hopefully, there's nothing. It's like hopefully you don't have like residue or something. Like, oh no.
And so I'd be more worried about the magic items I have on me. That's what
Yeah.
Tibian's thinking. It's like, oh, I hope that like all these magic things I have on me aren't going to trigger the dogs.
Yeah, I'm
Otherwise, this will be a
hopeful.
false positive test.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like,
hopeful
oh.
that arcane magic is not virulent, in any way.
No, this isn't syphilis. If you know what that's from, 10 points. You deserve a cookie. Cool. As you kind of watch him for a moment, and then he just shifts into the sand in such a way that you are surprised that such a large person can be that quiet and disappear that well. Like, knows exactly where to be out of lines of sight, and is moving very quietly. But okay, so you and Bostry are gonna just are trying to find where the perimeter is, and or you're going to just walk around.
No, we're gonna find the perimeter and try to cross the perimeter.
Okay.
Unless like dogs get close, in which case I will not cross the perimeter.
You don't want to make friends with the puppers?
Look, Tiffany kind of does, but like she understands that these are probably mean to her friends.
I mean, okay, fair. So, in that case, as you kind of walk along, it's about 800 feet from where the you line of sight from the door of the magnificent mansion is, and you can see one of the minute you walk past that point, you see one of these Elusas start to shift their body weight and move themselves forward in this kind of very stalking manner.
Towards us?
Hmm?
Towards us?
Yep, towards you. But they don't seem to be... They keep sniffing the air and moving around and moving the head, but they're moving towards you in a stalking manner, but not a threatening manner, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like in a tracking matter. Like they're gonna smell me to find someone else. This is sorry. I thought it was something really stupid I could do, but I'm not gonna do it. I am going to as I watch this beast sort of get closer to us, I look at Basri, who I've just been making like little small talk with as we've been walking slowly. Um, just pointing out the danger um of this dog approaching, just being like, oh, watch 3 o'clock. It looks like we will have a curious beast approaching us. Be ready, but try not to appear too threatening.
He kind of like cracks his shoulder and shifts, and you kind of like see him flick the band that cross guards the two short swords at his hips kind of off, and like shifts in such a way that it's easy to draw if it becomes necessary to do so. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, hey Bandibus. When Tibian and Imin and Basri left the building, did you close the door?
Yes.
cool. This will become completely complicated too, because from my recollection, you can't really find the door.
No, actually, it's a standing portal.
Oh, it is a standing portal. It is right. It is shiny and portal in there.
And if you have previously had permission to come in, you can come in.
This is true. You are going to lose your permissions. So, Evan is going to just kind of like suddenly pop up through the portal. So, a pack of Alusa, 6, no handler. Creepy. Border that seems that they cannot cross, but they know where it is and are stalking.
Okay. Concerning. Do I happen to know if they're just immediately attracted to anything magical, or is it just active or the residual of arcade magic cast within a certain time?
You can roll Arcana with advantage.
Okay. 29.
With a 29, you know Elusa. At least you know the Elusa that Cortel keeps, right? Like they've trained. If your if your Twitch stream just died, it should be back momentarily. Because I'm not getting any negative response on this end. Oh, there we go. We're back. Hey guys, I've started doing this as a source back-end recording, so it'll be, if it breaks, just keep going with it. The YouTube will be perfect when it goes up. But with a 29, you are aware that the Elusa that Cortel keep, and assuming that they're the same, I mean, they're the same species, and that they're at least trained similarly, they are trained to hunt active arcane magics and spells, and usually not arcane items per se, but sometimes the magical effects of like arcane items. Like, you're not going to ping it if you have a cloak of invisibility, but if you're using the invisibility of a cloak of invisibility, then that might ping it. Does that make sense? The enchanted item itself isn't going to necessarily pull them, but the fact that somebody is using that magic and actively engaging with it.
Okay, I have a trick if things go wrong.
And usually, at least in Elusa, they're kept by the guard, right? The guards in various towns to patrol at night. And usually there would be like a pack, and there would be like 1 or 2 handlers to a pack. And a pack would be anywhere from 5 to 10, depending on where they are. And the handlers would become, you know, would tell you repeatedly that they are the sweetest little things in the world, and you just don't appreciate them because their giant spike tails are so cute. Aren't they so cute?
I have a further question because I've worked with Cortel.
Yes.
Because this is a thing that I would think any wizard worth their salt would attempt. There is this wonderful spell of magic aura that you can cast on other things, including the Elusa. Would that distract the Elusa?
Not if it's cast on them, because with a 29, you know that they shrug off magics. There's like almost an innate anti-magic field on their person.
What about the collar?
You don't know of anyone who's tried it. It could go, you know, it might depend on how things go, because of the collar itself is mundane, but it's attached to them and they're an anti-magic field. How much of the field expends out of their body is a question. Um,
I figured this would be an area of that there has been copious amounts of concern for Vanderbrist. Like, is it the oil produced by the skin that's the anti-magic field? So could I just press the digitation away? If I could somehow get past, um, is it like, can I just make it rain? Uh, what's do I actually making it rain?
you have a now wet smelling Alusa.
Yes, but I have a feeling if I can just get the direction of the dogs, I can eliminate the problem by just summoning a hurricane.
A hurricane to summon is your problem. Yes, please do summon hurricane in the desert.
But I can.
I know you can. Please do.
No, this is just theoretical. Like, I, the hurricane comment was me just talking to Jura and channeling him for a moment. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you
That
want
would-
Harvey to come visit?
No, I'm rubber ducking right now. Okay, so there's a possibility that the field expands past the color to include the color. However, that could be funny. That could be very funny. Anyone here have bow and arrow?
There's a cocked eyebrow and like 6 bows are kind of like half raised and a bunch of arrows are rattled at you.
So Mistel's magic aura can enchant up to 20 arrows at a time.
Yes.
Fetch.
You're going to play fetch with the big puppers.
If necessary.
Okay.
I have many options. If nothing else, I can be the most unfortunate squeaky toy. I have invulnerability prep today.
So, Tibian, what you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm going to. Sorry, I can hear myself. I'm going to. I'm just gonna continue walking, I think.
As you continue walking, this large canine will kind of come up or near you, but keeping like a good 15 feet from you. And, smells the air heavily around you, kind of stalks and back and forth. Thank you for those wonderful gift subs, Time. I appreciate it. Thank you. As you kind of shift around back and forth and back and forth. And doesn't seem to kind of approach you. And after like 5 or so minutes, as you keep walking, or not that long, like a minute or two after you keep walking, will kind of pull away from you, pull back, and like turn and yip, sort of, at its fellows, and then slink back into the desert almost. It takes, you almost lose it in the dust and sand. Almost, but not quite.
I will, instead of walking like forward, I'll try to walk parallel with the door, or where we came from, essentially, 90-degree turn. And I will just, walk for like maybe another minute and two or two. Keeping track of the dogs, making sure they're not stalking Bossery and I. Because again, Tibian's main concern at this very moment is making sure that anyone who is not involved with Bandibris or I will not be bothered by these dogs. Yeah, and attacked. So Tibian will just continue doing that, making sure they do not return back and bother Bossery and I.
No, they seem to have given up on you and have started walking back towards that invisible line that you see and circling around. They can't seem to get any closer to where you know the portal for the Magnificent Mansion is, but they seem to know it's there, and they really want to. They really want to get closer.
Very interesting. I will start. I will nudge Bossery, and I will suggest us turning back towards the door. And as we start walking back, I try to find any sort of landmark or just like correlation, physical correlation that might be around this mansion that maybe would be preventing them from moving forward, like a natural border that, I don't know, could be enchanted, some magic-y stuff that would,
some
Tibian
magic-y
isn't
stuff.
aware of, but
I like the some magic-y stuff. Why don't you roll me an Arcana?
Okay. Just looking for anything that could be associated a little bit with that. I didn't mean to roll with advantage, but that's a good thing. It's just that
An
same
8.
number, an 8.
You don't see anything that seems like that. There really doesn't seem to be anything. And they kind of just slip into, the dunes occasionally and, stalking around this radius of this portal as you make your way back into the Magnificent Mansion. Could you roll me a perception, please?
Yeah, will do.
Okay, so we're going to use your passive instead, which is...
Oh, wait. 23?
23. Yeah, your passive instead of your 13. You can see that there's an intelligence in their motions and stalking. And a level of movement, but you also can just barely make out on the wind the sound of hoofbeats.
Oh, I hate that for all of us. Before I move forward, I will take like an extra second after I hear that to just make sure that it's coming from that same direction from where the dogs are. Before walking in.
It's coming from the direction of the city.
I hate that even more. Honestly, that was an even worse answer. I will go in and I will immediately rush to find Bandibris. Full speed, full halfling speed through this entire home.
I mean, did you go far from the door, Bandibris?
No.
It's full speed. You just have a full speed halfling come straight. It's like as fast as you can imagine Tibian going from 0 to 100 in about like 10 feet to hit Bandibris. That is what happens.
Yes!
And I'll be like, okay, here's the thing. Okay, hi. Oh no, oh my gosh. We need to have balancing lessons with you, Bandibris. Well, you're so wobbly. Okay, so here's the thing. We are so there's 6 dogs out there. That's fine. Whatever. Me and Bossery walked across. They came up, they sniffed us, it was fine. They were like, oh no, not us. Okay, that's not really the big deal. So, the people will be fine. The thing that's probably not fine is that I did hear a lot of hoofbeats coming from the city. And that never seems like a good thing. So, I feel like maybe we should move immediately fast right now. The people will be fine to leave. You probably will not be, but I am more concerned about them. You can take care of yourself. And-
As long as, like, right before I walk through the door, a blessing is cast on me, I should be okay. If I'm not okay,
with the dog.
I have both the I feel like being kind today spell, and then I have the we're not okay spell.
Those are all very good things. I'm more worried about the hoofbeats at this point. So let us, and I look around for a warchief Taskin.
I mean, he's kind of standing still inside the door with Bandibris. He let Emin and Bosri go lead this, but he's kind of there waiting, and he's like, "All right, what do you need?" This large orc who kind of looks down with a very flirtatious smirk at Tibian.
And I'll wink and I'll look up and I'll say, okay, it appears that so long as you are not the person who has done the magic, you will be fine. So I believe everyone in the caravan should be able to leave here perfectly fine. No issues. The dogs will just, roam close to you smelling. I don't know. Maybe magic has a smell. I'm not sure, but they will not bother you. Bandibus, on the other hand, who knows? There are hoofbeats coming from Saling. Not Saling, that is the entire country. From
Kotasuchi.
From Nokuchi? Kotasuchi? Which has me a little bit concerned if you know anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so perhaps we leave at the best possible speed.
Yes, absolutely. That would be the best option.
All right then. And he'll turn and like clap Emin and Bostri on their shoulders and like pull them like that like manly clap on the shoulder, and then at the same time like use that to pull them in tight into this really big bear hug kind of thing. You realize that both of them are still just a little bit shorter than their father. Whether they will, eventually end up taller than him or not, you don't know, but it's just a little. It takes a lot to make an orc look small, and that's how big you realize that Tuscan Warhammer is. He's like, all right, love you, stay alive, don't get dead, and or possessed by an undead abomination. And don't forget to write your mothers. They'll be very upset if you don't.
They'll be fine. I'm the one that's going to turn into a chew toy.
I don't know that that's going to be the problem. Like, Alusa, Lich, yeah.
In both cases, I'm the one that's most likely going to be turned into a chew toy. They'll be fine.
There's a raised questioning eyebrow about you being turned into a Lich's chew toy, but Tuscan doesn't choose to ask any questions about that, and instead looks at Tibian, winks, and says, "We'll have more fun next time."
Absolutely. I look forward to our next encounter.
Mm-hmm. All right then, and he starts leading his people in this caravan out of the magnificent mansion. Southwest, away from where the city and away from where the Elusa are in relation. And I think on the question of whether or not Bandibris turns into a chew toy the minute he steps outside, we're gonna go on break. Get yourself some stretch, bio, all of that good things, and we'll be back in about 15, or not 15, in 8 minutes, everybody. Hope you're having a great time. I'll see you in a little bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We hope you're refreshed, you stretched, you bioed, you did all of those good things. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome back to the channel, and we are returning for part 2 of A Song of Agapias' Fortune. And when last we left our heroes, we had the pleasure of Vanderbilt deciding to be an epic chew toy.
There's a possibility I will be this world's strongest Kong toy. We'll see.
Are you full with peanut butter as well?
No. More's the pity.
I mean, fair. But, what would you like to do now?
Once everyone's out, I will look to our nice cleric friend and ask for the blessing before walking through the portal and then closing this thing.
Well, she'll go ahead and upcast bless and cast it on you, and Tibian, and Imin, and Basri, and herself. Because everyone else is going, but she's going to be staying with you guys.
I, for one, will be walking out with the end of the caravan, keeping an eye out specifically for the dogs, waiting for the casters to do their thing inside.
Mm-hmm. Roll me another perception check.
Yay. 25.
The sound of hoofbeats are getting closer, and now you can, with the 25, you can hear and distinguish at least 10, maybe, mounted individuals riding at speed.
Tibian will just be standing there. She wouldn't anxiously be tapping. She would just be like, you know, the way you would like rhythmically hit your knuckles against the tips of your fingers against the table while you wait for other people to finish doing their thing when you're ready. That is what she's like doing against her leg and like fiddling with her with Riptide, just like, these guys could hurry. They have places to be.
Romeo turns and looks, she's like, you rush a blessing, you get a horrible blessing.
I guess. But they're getting closer.
Okay. And I'm done. And she kind of like flicks you in the forehead to end the spell. And now you're blessed. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Where are we going?
All right. Yes, and to try to stay close together in case I have to do something.
Imin and Basri hold hands. Like, Ramia seems to have perfected mom voice.
When did you get so good at being bossy? When did that happen?
Can't give away all of my secrets, darling. That would be quite inappropriate.
All right. Let's make it like we're going off to where we are going anyway.
Which is where?
North.
All right. That way.
And we're just walking casual.
Walking casual?
Walking casual?
Mm-hmm.
away from the city, away from everything.
I need. I don't want a stealth. I want a survival roll here.
Okay.
For your walking casual.
17.
But
26.
to 26. But don't forget you get to use D4 because you're blessed.
Oh,
All right.
sure. 18.
28.
Nice. Vanderbilt, you are slightly distracted, and it is a lot of open desert. Tibian, you are much more able, but you can follow along, and you know the general points of North Vanderbilt. You know where generally you're going.
Yes.
But it is vast and open. Tibian, you can pinpoint the general direction, but also specific directions. You know how to avoid the shifting sands of the dunes under your feet. Kind of pull Bosri back once as he was about to step into, not quicksand. What is it? It's like, word in my head where it looks stable and, yeah, I think drumhead stand is what I want. Basically the sand version of a
Avalanche.
No. A sand version of a it's not a words I'm struggling with tonight, which is very interesting, and the pit that happens underneath asphalt when the ground when the water sloshes away the underneath the ground.
Sinkhole.
Sinkhole. Yeah, that word. Thank you. The sand version of a sinkhole, which is not quicksand, but it you can have the same kind of thing. So you pull him back from the sand sinkhole for a minute or two, just before he would have collapsed, and that would have been really difficult because he's like 7.5 feet of a lot of muscle. He is not a light boy. He's also got, 2 really big swords on his back. And 2 short swords at his hips.
Like, whoa. What's your stuff there, friend?
You also realize that you can now hear the Elusa following you. And yipping in a circle. And Tibian, you know that this is a pack herding behavior, right? Like, they want to herd you somewhere in particular. Also, probably cut people off from the, herd, and then pick them off one by one. Pack hunting tactics. Great things. Very efficient.
I will pat Vanderbrust in the back of the calf, and I'll be like, unless you would like to see what this pack will do to us and what Saling wants with us, I would suggest us leaving sooner rather than later. If you have a quick get out of jail free card here.
I don't know what protections this land has against certain magics, so I don't necessarily want to attempt to teleport until we're on the opposite side of its border. But if we absolutely must, I can emergency teleport.
It is at your discretion now. They are 100% trying to direct us in the direction they want.
Okay. Should I be spiteful now? Is that what you're asking for? Should I hit the spite button?
I am saying, if we would like to get out here without a bite taken out of us, maybe, that option.
Okay. So I am going to attempt to cast teleport.
Cool.
And I will, as he starts doing that, I look at the brothers and Ramia, and I say, get ready, one way or another. Something's about to happen.
You, how long does it take to cast teleport? 10 minutes? No.
It's instantaneous.
It's instantaneous. You're and you're not. Roll me an Arcana.
Okay. I'll use one of my luck. 28.
Oh, that's a lot better than a 16. You needed a 20.
Oh, good.
You felt as you kind of like push against this to cast the spell, you feel this moment of like pushing through molasses. This heaviness, this kind of weight that you know that if it was anything less than a caster of your caliber, of your skill, it would slow them down to the point that they might be even perhaps slowed enough to be caught for their spell not to work.
I am very certain Belthaprini does not approve of them. Goodbye!
Belthaprini does not approve.
You are being
just like,
spiteful
huh?
against the goddess of magic. I don't think she approves. Goodbye. Good God.
Well, goddess. Belthaprini.
The god of magic does not approve of them stifling magic.
Yes. And that's the god of magic. I guess maybe Fasti Tetu, and I mean, like the goddesses are Tamandra, Ashura, and Fasti Tetu. And then Proxilus, Velthaprini, and Zephon. And then Vestru is the genderless deity of death because death is equal to all beings at all times.
Right? Where you requested, just not precisely where you requested. We are in Rodelda, but where I visited.
Where you've been before, correct? And so you
yes,
have to...
there is a place that I have been before because Darius.
Yes, because Darius.
And I am certain, if you will allow, there is this building on stilts within the swamp. It is a combination fishing hole and restaurant.
Yes, would you like to see what it looks like?
Sure, but that's what I remember most about this region. That's where we're going.
Yes, hold please. I has even an image of how this go. Combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. Well, it's a little further north. Darius didn't like to spend a lot of time in the swamps, so it's a little bit closer to the Novigrad border at the bottom of the mountain. And it is a hut that is built onto a rock with a number of ladders down into a pool that kind of flows into rock-formed like glacier runoff, and you can kind of see where it flows out into the swamps and the warmer weather begins to preside. But it is a beautiful wooden building, rustic in the best sense of the word. And you know that this is also not where Rothaid, you can find Rothaid, because Rothaid remains in the south of the country, in the swamps, but is more likely to find Notker, the arch druid of the Godelda Halflings. Not the High Druid, but the arch druid. Those are two different positions. And two different individuals with two different, very similar connections, however. And I'm just gonna put it here, and oh, no, undo. Boop, boop, boop. And this is Darius's hut in the middle of nowhere in Godelda. And where is Rothade? I'm going to... I realized that I didn't have... There we go. There. Wood cabin on a rock. Down into a pool of crystal clear water closer to the mountains, so it looks a little rugged. A little cooler than the swamps, which are a little further south. Where you are more likely to find the stubborn curmudgeon that is Notker, an archdruid of the Godelda halflings. Not the high druid. Archdruid is a symbol of power, his rank, how far he's moved along. One might say his level mechanically. High druid is one of authority, position, religious ties. He might have more bang, she has more flash.
Do any of us know Notker?
Yes, I know of his reputation and his smell. We did
Yes.
not speak long.
No. And Javi has people looking into Notker. Although I don't think you know that, because Javi, I don't think, has told anybody about that.
No. All secrets.
Yep.
Hey, it wasn't relevant yet.
Exactly. It wasn't relevant yet. You don't have any information. But this is a place that Darius has brought you before, Bandibus.
Yes.
Are you targeting inside or outside the house?
Outside the house, you don't want things to go wrong by trying to target inside a house.
I just need to check something.
That is a first year's mistake.
Is the second year whether or not we're gonna fall into this pool?
So you would say that you're seen casually, perhaps, might be the level of... You've been here at least once, right? Or twice?
Oh, we've been like, this is the one place I would agree to go once we're going into this country. So I've been here at least 4 times.
So, like, I wish there was a rank that was familiar. Let's use seen casually, because we'll call that familiar. So I need a D100 roll. Because it's not a permanent circle and it's not an associated object, and I would not say 4 times is very familiar.
Fair enough. 90.
90. You are on target. I forget that it is not Call of Cthulhu rules.
No, Lindy's not here.
This is fair. This is fair. No, you are on target, so you will land along the coast of this small pool at the close to the bottom of these steps, or ladder really, that will lead you up to the rock that this hut is built onto. It's colder, significantly, than where you were.
Much more humid.
Much
more
humid.
pleasant.
Depends on what type of weather you like.
I'm not a fan of sand.
By the way, would both of you please roll me a D100?
Okay.
We'll use high good rules.
95.
58.
So, well, Tibian, just kind of like shifts for a moment on that answer of Bandibus says, I do not like sand. He's like, you flick a little bit of sand off your shoulder, but most of you is absolutely clean. Bandibus, as he says that, like you just see like the entire bottom of his robes is coated in it. He gestures and you see it in his beard, and it's like, it's gonna take a while to get rid of that.
No, it's called prestidigitation.
This is for chair. This is what prestidigitation is for.
Well, this is a nice place. Where are we?
The northern side of Cordova, a nice little fishing spot. This is also the place where I saw A large druid? More spelled than saw. Darius and he had a conversation twice. While I was upstairs, actually right there on that corner chair, eating salmon.
Freshly caught?
No, this is stuff of one of the professional
Yeah.
brought in the day before, but no. If you want to, you can cast a line right over there and see what you can get. They even sell bait.
Fancy. Glad to see that we're still fishing here. Okay. Well, I cannot send I cannot send a message. Can you send a message to our friends to see where they are?
Certainly, I'll use sending. I have a feeling Harvey's doing something important, so I'd bug Theo. Left selling, it sucked. In northern Godelda, where are you? Meet up when?
And where? And where?
And
Tell them I love
where?
you. And where? Thank you.
Hmm. Oh, let me see. Meeting with the High Druid. Don't know exactly where. Meet up with Viral? Question mark.
You say question mark?
That'll be like meet up with Viral.
So, you met with a great bard. King of Bards, right? That's the title. Right. And the meeting with the High Druid of the Halflings. Now, don't know the location.
The swamp. Theo's just like, it's a swamp. Cobby knows where he is. Theo doesn't.
That's fair. The swamp.
I'm half familiar with Godelda.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a little bit of time here.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know where that is geographically from us, considering I'm next to mountains?
Yes, you would. You could roll survival at advantage because you have spent time in Godelda before, and you also have training in maps.
Oh yeah, I
The
do.
20.
Sorry, I forgot. Go ahead.
I was like, I remember these things. With a 20, you have been to Godelda before. You know that the swamp is most of the southeastern border of the country. A large chunk of like the south, eastern border, and then like the southern half of the country, kind of goes like this, makes a big swoop to the west, and you're kind of northeast, so you think like the swamp is generally south of you. Without knowing more, it would be hard to pinpoint where they are because it's a swamp, right? And
Yeah.
hi everyone, I would like to remind you that a swamp is a moving body of water. The trees stay in place, but the water kind of moves around and it flows, and there are tidal influences. So, and you know that a large number of the population that live in the swamp live on what are on these like houseboats, these floating houses, right? That kind of float with the tide, with the swamp and the movement of the water. And because of that, it can be hard to pinpoint like the quote unquote GPS positioning of a individual house, but you can get close, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know generally
Uh,
that they're south and east, almost due south of where you are, probably by about 300, 400 miles.
mm, well, they're not terribly close to us. Um, I'm not terribly familiar with where the High Druid generally stays. I've never gone to visit. So I guess we can. I mean, you said this was Darius's place, right?
Well, Darius took me here.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to do a little bit of an investigation.
Hmm.
See if we can find
Yeah.
something here, a clue.
Yeah. Ask about the Archdruid, because again, they had a conversation. Not too far from understanding.
Yeah, and it wouldn't hurt. Maybe they know. If they are an archdruid, they may be familiar with the goings on of the unnatural up north. They are fairly close.
Yes.
And I'll start approaching the cabin, but before I even like reach the stairs, I'll stop and I'll look at Vandebrus, and it's like, it's Darius as no cautious about their homes? Should I be worried about traps of magical variety?
Well, again, this is a place of business. I don't think this place is trapped. They like having people here to, fish and eat.
Okay. And I will very cautiously take a step up the step. And if I don't immediately get hit by like a fireball or something, I will take another cautious step before I'll run up the stairs and continue forth.
Mm-hmm.
People say I'm paranoid.
Nothing seems to be trapped here, but it also looks to be there's dust all around the walls. There's
Closed for the season, as it were.
yeah, but it's doesn't really make sense to be closed for the season.
Ah. Okay, time for the paranoia. Hello? No one here? You're all alive, right? If you're here?
I approach paranoia very differently.
I still haven't done a teleport ready, so that's why. Anyone?
I'll try the door.
You try the door. It squeaks loudly but opens. It's not locked in any manner. There's a large open room that you kind of open into. Table, chairs, fireplace that's cold, unlit.
By this fireball that goes at you very suddenly.
Would I just do a fireball trap?
No, we're too high level. It would be a symbol trap. All of a sudden, you'd be feeble minded.
I will walk in and look around. Is it also dusty in here?
Yes, dusty. Um, you can roll investigation.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I need to remember what this thing does. Only that. Okay, good. Sometimes you have to remember what your magic items do. 15.
Um, it's dusty. The fireplace looks cold. There doesn't seem to be any sign of any like attempts to make like there's no food being used, none of this kind of thing. Um,
I mean, it looks unused.
It's weird.
Is it? I don't. I start looking around for any loose pages. I'll like rummage through drawers and boxes and anything I can find.
as you start to go through this very rustic cabin, it's got like four chairs kind of around a rickety a table, a fireplace. There's a ladder that leads up to a lofted area where you're pretty sure the beds are, and like two chests, like actual chests, like chests on the floor, and bookshelves as you kind of go through them. Hey Theo, got a question for you.
Yeah.
How does Theo handle? Well, Theo's been living in Tenerife, so you're used to a kind of spicy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not spicy, spicy.
I think she said spicy before.
Yeah. This
I mean,
is
if it's Trade City, and
yeah.
this is are these like the peppers?
Oh yeah, she puts a couple of them on like
Yeah.
sprinkled on top. Magically
If you
healing.
If you haven't had them on your adventures, Theo, I definitely would have had you taste them because I know a guy.
Yeah.
You do
I
know
know
a guy.
Yeah.
They are spicy, but they are good. It's a really good spice and heat on it. Really good gumbo. Really good.
Our poor palates have been through a lot. Apparently, we just like everything.
And if you ask what the protein of choice is, gator. And you can kind of, yeah, that kind of makes sense. What do you
that can
do?
be arranged.
Yeah, it's easy. It's there. Provides lots of sustenance.
Occasionally attacks you, and you have to deal with it in such a way.
Exactly. What do you do after you get your sending from Bandibus and you respond?
You know, I'll have the I'll I'm in the mood to burn spell, so I'll you know what? I'll message Tibian.
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly are you? You and Brandbus must know where you are. Around here? I have no idea. Maybe we can come to you.
We're at Old Cabin Northeast, right?
It's west.
Northeast of where you are. So like slightly closer to the Varoom border, but
All right.
Northeast, Godelda, border. Seeing an archdruid soon? Never been here.
Okay.
Hope you're good. Love you. Stay safe.
After getting that, she'll look at Humvee and Rathane and just be like, friends are apparently in the region. I don't know exactly where. said they're checking in with an archdruid. Do you have any idea what location that would be?
Which one?
There are 4 you know of.
They said that the well, I can give you the region. They're on the room border, so like probably northeast of us, if that narrows it down.
That would narrow it down, correct?
Yeah. You would know that that's roughly where it would probably be Notker. The 4 archdruids kind of stay to the 4 cardinal points of Godelda, and then all of them kind of are subordinate to Rothaid as the High Druid. And a similar to political system as, you know, the 4 kings of Ireland being subservient to the High King of Ireland.
Got it. I would be like, I believe, unless anything has changed, Rothaid, that'd be Notgur, correct? That they're seeking?
It would be my understanding that would be correct. Notker's still hanging around being his smelly self.
I had sent some people to check up on Notker. GM helped the player out. I forgot why.
You sent one of the friends to investigate the reports of the Lich before you guys went to Novigrr.
You're right.
And you knew that Notker would be, because he is in the northeast, along the Novigrr border. He would be the most likely, A, having met him, and B, would be the most likely to have any information about undead eruptions in Novigrr.
Gotcha. One of the friends I sent to call upon Notker to start scouting the Lich issue. Was hoping that Notker's familiarity with the border at Novigrr would be able to give us some insights into how far the presence of the Lich is spread. Has Notker reported anything to you?
Not the last little bit. I mean, the gentleman also does not leave his abode, which, to be quite frank, I prefer. I do not mind that he cares for his fungi more than normal people. I do not care that he enjoys the company of decomposition. I do care that the man does not... Look, it's real easy to get rid of a stench like that. It's called lemon juice and a bath.
Yes. Unfortunately, some people have forgone the art of bathing, and I don't know why.
And he don't come down here. He lives up near the waterfall. It's real easy to shove that man in a body of water, but nope. Still come out smelling like rancid meat. And she kind of like half turns and looks at Fear with this point. She's like, don't worry. Y'all don't have to worry about finding him. His stench will lead you to him.
Yeah, he's not the most stealthy individual.
Fantastic.
You ever smell one of those flowers that smells like a rotten corpse?
I haven't had the pleasure. Honest.
It's distinct. You ever smell a rotten corpse? It's been out in the sun too long and flies been getting at it?
Unfortunately, yes, that I have.
Yeah, now picture that as a walking around human being that is not undead and wants to have a pleasant conversation with you. And talk about his fungus.
Fascinating.
Everything about that man is about his damn fungus.
Many of us have our special interests. He takes it to a whole new level.
He told me that he started naming them.
Oh.
Not like naming them as an identifier, like this is the breed of X, or this is a Daisy, or that's a Jasmine. No. It's Robert. Who gonna call fungus Robert? I do not need to know why he calling a fungus. And he's like, I talk to the fungus. I'm like, I understand. I talk to plants. But usually when I do that, there's some sort of magical ability involved, and they're gonna actually give me some information. No, he just talked to him and expects him to talk back without casting about it. It's look, nah, we don't need no walking, talking fungus.
It's true. We don't really need a walking, talking fungus. Noctur's the closest thing that we have, and that's too close.
Well, at any rate, it should make it easier to find him, I guess.
Yeah.
Smell is rather distinctive, and anything that can help us.
Well, in that case, let's see. I'll let them know that once we finish dinner, and meet with Lorelei, we will come to them.
All right.
Alright.
I will. Oh, I can just relay that message to the. I'll send it to Tibian again. It's like, well, Hobbit seems to know where you are. So, but we are having dinner with the High Druid, and once that's done, we can meet up with you. Hope this part of your trip is at least pleasant. Seems like things got a little bit hairy to where you came from last time. Love, Fia.
Awesome. Can't wait to meet up again. We have friends to help us. Cabin creepy though. Investigating now. See you later. I want the inflection on the last one. I just want you to imagine like the heart emoji at the end of that message.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like. Yeah, like heart emoji. These are good third level. Goodbye, third level spells. Goodbye.
I mean, all right.
It's 300 miles. We should pinpoint things before we like teleport to places I have never been.
It's a very important thing to do. But, Tibian, after you get this response from Theo,
Yeah.
I need you to make a roll for me, please.
Absolutely. Which one?
I need a perception check.
Sure.
Mhm.
I could do a perception check.
Well, a 13.
It wanted that 13. It
Yeah.
really wanted that 13.
And in this case, we are not using your passive because you are actively being distracted by Theo. In this case,
Yeah. Yeah.
Banderbus, you also get to make a perception check. What are you doing while this conversation?
Again, I'm just sort of like looking around, but I'm also just making sure that our lovely little group is within 15 feet of one another.
Mm-hmm.
In case of we out needs to happen. So that is what I'm doing. 19.
You
We
begin
do have blessings though.
you smell something putrid.
There are many things that smell putrid.
Yes.
And as somebody who has, in real life, an incredibly sensitive nose, I know the distinction between the different scents.
Mhm.
Is there a cloying sweetness to this one, or is this more earthy?
A slight level of sickly sweet.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. Let's all calmly get out of the cabin, please.
Imin and Boster are just kind of like, all right, and they follow you. Ramia is also kind of looking around.
I smell decomp. We should go.
And she kind of like grips the staff that she's holding a little bit tighter. Again, she can't actually see anything, so she's just kind of holding on to Bossary, the back of Bossary's shirt, and moving her head in manner that she's trying to find something, but she can't quite.
Do things. Debian, we are going.
I'm like talking to Theo actively. I'm just like, yeah, creepy here, but we'll see you soon. I mean, oh, what was that, Band of Rust?
I smell decomp. We're leaving.
What do we want to see the decom?
Nope. Because it could be walking. Let's go.
I feel like we want to see that even more. I say as I start like following after.
Where are you going?
Once we're all gathered together,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to expend my wish for the day because I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. So I'm using it to cast instantaneously teleportation circle. We're in Durasov now.
Okay. You are in Dursov and appear at the circle in Dursov, where 12 very rigid looking dwarves are pointing spears at you.
Oh,
Not again. I just told Theo we were in the cabin. You were spending that spell slot to tell her we're suddenly somewhere else.
sure. But at least we're not being stabbed right now. Hi, everyone. Professor with the College Arcanian in Varun, here to visit.
The market is over there.
Thank you.
And they kind of pull back. Again, that level of you popped in. Unexpected teleportations are going to register, but they aren't being aggressive or angry at you. Inim and Bostry kind of look disconcerted, visibly disconcerted.
What's the trouble, lads?
There's the sky.
Oh, we're on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
First time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you get used to it. Walk this way. No, certainly. The wonders that you will see and the ale that you will be drinking will make all the concern of the lack of blue go away.
At the point of ale, they look kind of okay, very disconcerted still, but okay.
Don't drink the whiskey the first time you are here. You are not ready for it. I don't care how young or hearty you are. You must get to at least a level of bitter and jaded before you can partake.
And Bostry just kind of looks at Eamon, and the two look at each other, And then, like, Tibian, as you kind of were watching this, the two of them will go like, "We're having the whiskey."
Harvey is not here to make that pain go away.
Orcish
I'll go-
words.
I'll grab Ramia's hand, and I'll say, well, I guess now we're in. Where are we, Bandipus?
We're in Durasov. It is lovely. The people are lovely. We are with the dwarves.
Yes, and we can't go any further because it is the religious sanctuary of the dwarvish population. I'm assuming we're going to the market?
We are going to the market. Then we're going to go and find an inn.
Isn't it like noon?
Yeah,
Yes,
about that.
I have just done so much magical work. I need a nap.
Theo.
Of the most capable five of the most capable fighters in this entire damn place, and one little smell of death, and suddenly we're running. As I'm leading Ramia away down into the market.
I'm used to having. Let me just put it this way. I don't know how many undead they were planning to use. I just know how many I could kill. And I had a very distinctive feeling those numbers were not the same.
Ramia kind of walks up and pats you on the shoulder, Bandibus, and goes, "That's okay. I can make them go away. Cleric, remember?"
Yes. Now, do you mind telling me do you wish to stay in your current condition, or would you like that fixed?
I know the cost of simple wishes, wizard. Don't worry about me for right now. Worry about yourself.
Oh, constantly. But if I can do something for a friend,
Restoration spells and magical healing didn't work. Let's not tempt the gods' anger with wishing things that should not be.
so you're saying put a pin in it.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm sure there's an inn here. I have a tavern I haven't been kicked out of.
Have you been
I've
kicked
never
out?
been here.
Okay, well then
So
that was going to be my question. I was like, I didn't know that you'd been kicked out of any taverns in Darasov.
Not yet. I don't know.
I will just caution you that unlike Prosolov, they hit harder here. Significantly so. They also tend to be a little less patient.
I've always found Darasov wonderfully pleasant in company. But then again, and she kind of glances behind you, behind the circle, towards the direction of the actual city of Darasov. Because well, none of you can enter it. Quite fond memories of that city. But you're looking for an inn, right?
Yes.
Ah. Well, I know of a few places. I know of a few places. I believe we can hit up. Ooh, yes. Silent Butcher has always been a fond place of memories of mine. Come, follow your nose. You're looking for caramel and toffee apple.
Go on.
So Bandverse, quick question: are you informing Theo and Javi that you
Uh,
have left the building?
Yes, I will spend, because I've spent all my thirds. I will spend another fourth level slot to cast Sending. Um, sorry, to Theo. Sorry, change of plans. There was the smell of decomp. In Durasov now. Good news, they have a teleportation circle. Bad news, they're very picky about people using it. But you should be able to smooth things over. Going to be here for at least a bit. Burn through many spells. Hope you are well.
Noted. You must have had quite the trip. You sound stressed. Maybe that relax. Maybe that you should relax there while you can. But we'll be there as soon as we can. Have a little bit of business here. Pleasant dinner, but shouldn't be a problem to get there. Doesn't the swamp always smell like that? That's the way she's gonna.
As someone who has lived in a swamp most of his life, there are different smells. And decomp is very distinct.
Mm-hmm. So, Theo and Javi, you're gonna finish enjoying dinner with, as Lorelai will ride up probably, well, in a small boat, probably just about the time you're finishing dinner. She kind of walks in, a similar dress as Rothaid, but she wears a veil across the lower half of her face. Um, it seems to be a personal choice of some sort of reason. You don't know of any Godelda doesn't have any. You don't know of any people for that would require veiling, except for certain religious, like, orders. There's a temple to Vestru in Walaba where all of the dedicates are veiled within the temple. Um, Not the main temple that Hobby visited in Bakara, but a like smaller sect that actually deals with the rites of burial and leading up to burial, basically. Um, so she kind of like comes in, smiles at the two of you, doesn't say anything though. And Rothaid introduces you. Now this is my niece's grandbaby. She gonna go with you to deal with your unfortunate lich problem. She real good at dealing with undead of an unsightly sort.
Well, that should come in incredibly handy and helpful. Glad to have you.
Smiles. You can see the smile in her eyes, but she doesn't say anything. She kind of like bobs her head as a nod.
Oh, yes, much appreciated. Um, it will be a concerted effort amongst a large number of us, and your aid will be very important. So, thank you.
Nods again, but still doesn't speak. You all have a very pleasant rest of your evening then. I'm sure that nothing horrible has happened to your friends. Notka doesn't really allow much horrible around him, aside from his pure self.
There were Brandibus, the wizard that we travel with, something seemed to have spooked him, and but they have teleported out of their location. So if might be nothing, it might be we are just on edge, but there might be something happening there. It seemed rather abrupt.
Well then, did they say where they was going? I might be able to help you find some place where they're headed.
They went to Darasov, so I
Oh,
think they're completely
them.
out of the yeah.
You sure you gotta go to Dassoff? Couldn't we get you someplace nicer? I mean, I'd even take, Saba over Dassoff.
Well, I think it was a matter of circles and whatnot. I don't think they had that much of a choice for accommodations. Otherwise, there's so many places. Yeah, you are right. There are so many places closer by that I would prefer. But you know what? Sometimes we can't be picky. Sometimes we have to make our own accommodations more pleasant. You know.
Are y'all spending the night, or are we moving y'all off to Dassoff this evening?
I'll look at Hobby. What do you think?
I think Javi unfortunately had to leave us because he wasn't
Oh,
feeling
okay. Okay. You know what? I think we can. It's been a long day, and you know what? This is a new place. Might as well get used to it for a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, just
Not
so
at
that
all.
we are as ready as we can be even in the morning to meet with them. Who knows what the morning brings?
Always true. Always true. I'll make sure to. Well, I gotta pack up your peppers. I gotta pack up a bunch of other things to sandwich you. That'll be out good. Y'all can have. And she kind of gestures off, and you can see like these vines twist and grow, and then part, and then reposition themselves into a slightly new position. It's like, well, I put up some guest rooms over there if you'd prefer to have some space to yourselves. Lorelai, dear, your room's always ready for you. And Lorelai just seems to smile and nod at that. Again, she's 3 foot, maybe she's a little bit taller than Rothade. Maybe 3'4" at that. She kind of just nods and will make her way off into one of the other side rooms. Javi will go lie down and feel better. And Theo, what are you going to do as Rothade is, cleaning up, but also just kind of like picking at it, taking her time.
No, it's Goth. I think first thing is she's gonna be like, if you don't think this is forward or anything like that, what exactly is between you two?
Between whom? Oh, Javi?
Yeah. Yes.
He was a very good student once. And a very good friend. Other questions are best asked in front of him, don't you think, honey?
I am prone to a little bit of gossip, so just
we want to gossip, sugar. And she's like, excuse me, we can do this.
Yes.
We can gossip about a lot of things. Javi, not so much, but that's all right. He's a good boy. A good friend. We have other people we should gossip about. that walking, talking stench bomb.
Yes, and what about other than the smell and the unfortunate talking to naming fungus things?
This slight, unfortunate obsession that this walking, talking stench bomb seems to have with the royal house of Noviga.
Mm. Yes.
And a perhaps young dedicant of Velfaprini, or Tamandra, excuse me. That's a GM mistake. Tamandra that seems to be part of that family.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
say. Mm-hmm.
You want to know about that? Or we can talk about the new marriage proposal going on between Vasava and Fristad, and the royal family of Noviga making themselves right popular in the imperial capital of Varoom.
Oh yeah, I've heard so much about that. Although we've been traveling so much, I've been a little bit out of circle. So, what do you know about that?
Oh, it was such a scandal you would not believe. Now, first of all, I have a complicated relationship with Aspirin. She's a nice enough woman for, human, but she always left a little sour taste in my mouth when you came across her too much. I don't really have a lot of problems with that, but you just have that little moment of like, she's smiling at your face, but she's gonna stab you in the back with her voice when she talks about you. You know it, you can smell it, you see it when you see it.
I do know the type, exactly.
She's she played that good political game, and she's real good at it, and she's real popular, but there's something about her I just never sat right with me. And then those daughters of hers. Why ain't nobody seen her daughters in public in a while? By a while, I mean like 5 years. And now suddenly her second daughter is gonna be marrying the crown prince of
I mean, yeah.
in Varoom.
Yes, knowing how that works, it's like you don't hide your daughters away for that long. You have to like, kind of parade them around. I mean, I went through that myself, so I would. But that is
sugar, I'm so
unusual.
sorry. Well, but it takes a little bit worse when Noviga, her eldest daughter, gonna inherit. That's gonna be a problem, right? Her sons can't touch that throne. What's wrong with her eldest daughter that she ain't gonna be seen in public in the last 5 years?
Nobles can be tricky in their own ways. I mean, it could be something as innocuous as privacy, but you do know, like, a certain amount of talking, certain amount of things can happen behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Things that aren't incredibly pleasant, or they don't want to get out. So
now, but
that's
what's so
something.
unpleasant that not even I's heard about it? Now, to be fair, I didn't hear about this unfortunate lich problem that was going on. I thought it was dealt with. I was told it was dealt with, and obviously I'm going to need to have a more stringent conversation with folks about what they do when they find across undead on my borders. But that's a different conversation. But why? Why do we not even see these daughters of hers? Those...
That is the question, certainly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and now suddenly
you don't have no one's seen them, especially if no one's seen them for a while. Who knows what they look like? I mean, there's so much. There was. Can I tell you that there was something very weird that happened during the party that we did run across. Like, we should probably be more careful about this. But there were nobles running around. There was one absolutely awful person that was pretending to be a noble. Pretending to be married to one of the friends of a room, and awful.
So this is one of the Duchess, right? We heard about she went missing and nobody's heard from her, and she was taking over the Duke's territory and taking over the Duke, if you don't understand my meaning. Now, to be fair, I always thought that was always going to be a thing that was going to happen, but, usually I thought it was all going to be because of, the TNA and not because of magical spells it was using to warp his memory.
Yes, I thought it was former, but it ended up being way, 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 way much more the latter. I mean, I don't know if the Dukes would be the same anymore. Charm magics over long periods of time. Extremely strong magics.
I'm quite sure he will be quite unwell for a while, and he's got nephews. It'll be fine. Well, I don't know. Maybe The Emperor of Rome will go off and plan the murder, the execution of another duke of his territory. Who knows? They seem to have that problem up there.
I mean, that's something we're trying to fix. So hopefully not. I mean, it's no good being a duke of something that would have such unstable foundation. So I'm hoping for the best for that.
Hmm.
Do have that marriage.
You want that promotion, don't you, sugar?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, the prestige sounds great. I'm not great for the amount of actual responsibility. I mean, it's easy to be adored when you do what I do, the musician stuff. But when you do things that, actually affect people's bottom lines, they don't tend to like you as much. And I do like being liked.
Hmm. But you can't please everybody, honey. Gonna have to upset some people at some time.
I mean, I should know. I mean, there's two. I mean, I can't really go to Cotel or Salling, so I mean, I've already upset people, but
Oh, you can go to Quartel anytime you really like.
I don't know.
It's they claim this thing about casting arcane magic, and to be fair, they kind of do. The Elusa thing, they do exist. Oh, but they're such sweet boys. The Elusa are such sweet puppies. You could just give them a little scritch right under the neck, and they're just absolutely putty in your hand. But Quartel, they're fine. Salling is a hellscape, and I don't ever want to go there.
I mean,
Also, that great lady of theirs, I got questions about her. She don't ping right to me. Do not ping right to me at all.
actually, yes, my friends did before they came up here come from Salling, and they did say it was unpleasant. So apparently, word on that is apparently correct in some way. Unfortunately,
Look, I do not like Somchai always seemed a little weird to me until even before the great religious uprising of Salin, whatever the hell she's calling it these days. But this, look, ain't nobody on this planet, or to my knowledge, has ever had a virgin birth. And now she wants to be tied to both the virgin and Mother Ashra. Well, Mother Ashra is many things, honey child, but she ain't no virgin.
oh, having a baby without the fun part seems like a raw deal.
Well, she don't want to even have a baby. She just keeps adopting all these children. I don't understand it. This religious, she's building a cult. She building a cult. Mark my words, she building a cult. I also am not really a big fan of that whole white thing she got going on. It's makes me just want to break out in hives. Where's the color? Where's the pageantry?
Exactly. Yeah, gotta have some amount of excitement in there, otherwise.
Also,
What is joy?
I've been hearing things. I listen, pay attention. Things flow. Ain't nobody seen in Salin except those who live in Salin and some of those orc caravans. No one from Tenerife going into the country anymore? What the heck is going on down there?
Oh, apparently awful stuff because, yeah, like I said, my friends got there, stayed, and decided they didn't want to stay there anymore. So, yeah, I mean, bad things upon bad things. I mean, maybe once once this lich issue is taken care of, maybe, but maybe it's tied. Who knows? But can I ask you something?
You can always ask. I don't guarantee to give you an answer, but you can always ask.
Is there anything you know about like the Fae out here?
Don't lie to them, don't make a contract with them, and try and keep your head, otherwise you're going to lose yourself in time for about however long you got to have. Why, sugar? What you done wrong with them?
I had a little bit of encounter. I had a little bit of encounter back home.
What do we define an encounter? It's a very important question. You can tell me I am a religious figure and a doctor, mostly. And so confidentiality is guaranteed inside these four walls, unless, of course, you're telling me that you're going to go on a murder and spree and conquer the world, in which case I would have to, imprison you in a vines until we maybe fix that small problem.
As much as it pains me, a rather tall, beautiful woman emerged and seemed to have some sort of feeling of ownership over land, things like that.
Just land?
Yes. He is lying. Like, I don't think that's too much, I think, for.
So you're trying a deception here, is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I need the deception rule.
Yeah. That's about as willing to go. 20.
She kind of stares at you for a moment. Is like, all right. Well then, if they believe that they own something, there's usually a contract and a reason for them to believe so. They don't just suddenly roll up on a place and be like, ooh, shiny, now it's mine. Well, let me phrase that. If they do, it's, ooh, shiny, I really want this, how can I make it mine? And if they come up and say, I owns it, then there's a reason why.
I mean, considering I'm going to be in ownership of these lands, is there any way to... I mean, it's something that could have been done by, I don't know, generation nobles back. Is there any way to get them to amend that or...
Well, you have to know what the
that?
original deal was.
Oh, boy.
What did they actually want? What was the deal for? And what did you benefit out of it? And what did they benefit out of it? Don't go trying to break a pact with the Fae. It don't end well. Only thing worse, Fae and Archdevils don't make deals with either of those individuals. It don't end well for you or anyone around you, and half the time it don't end well for half the world either.
I'm gonna make another. I think when she brings up Archdevil, like, I think I'm gonna roll, like, she's gonna just try and keep it together. I think she's not gonna try and make a face, because I think it's like, yeah, that's those two things I think bother her. All right, let's see.
Mhm.
Let's see if let's keep this deception. 17.
I'm gonna keep her previous roll because she's actively studying you.
That's fine. Yeah.
Like when she goes, she's gonna ping on the fact that you don't want to talk about Archdevils, and she's like,
Yeah.
well, aren't you popular? Faye, though,
Always.
sometimes it's hell to be popular, though, ain't it?
Yes.
Just don't end up going and performing there. I hear it's real bad weather and it will do horrible things to your skin. You're too young to look that bad.
It would be awful, wouldn't it? Things I've heard about them.
But there are ways you can do a summoning and a conversation. Usually works better if you understand in advance what deal was made and who was making it. Go in with your best, all your ducks in a row, as they say.
When you say that they don't react well to interference, how bad are we talking?
Let me ask this question for you, Sugar. Have you ever had somebody actively look at you in all of this? She kind of gestures to the glamour bar that is sitting at her table, and then glance at you, acknowledge your existence, and then turn around and ignore you, and you know that they are ignoring you and they are doing it intentionally?
Yes. I mean,
How annoyed were you?
absolutely incredibly.
Now take that and add in a sense of centuries and entitlement and a never-ending desire to just fuck with people.
That's pretty awful.
Let me pour you another drink. And
Yes,
she
I
kind
think
of
I
like
might.
takes that shine and pours it out. And as you sit there and enjoy your drinks, I think that's where we're going to end for the evening.
Oh, can I have one thing?
Yep, you always.
You said that that you could show me the thing with the thorns.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't received a ton of formal training, but if you would indulge me and show me how that worked. I mean, I figured, roses, all this thematically, I think that works. I mean, it'll be good for like, undead, but having that, the whole image
Well, honey,
thing
it
also
works on
helps.
living too. It's just much more
Yeah,
violent and bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, we'll get onto that. She will teach you. She will attempt to teach you druidcraft.
Nice.
So that you could use it as you wish.
Yeah.
If you have the space for a spell slot for a cantrip, you may add druidcraft as a cantrip. Ooh, I love when
we'll just hang out. I think for a while. I think Fio's it's been a couple days. And I think she's in the mode to still kind of like socialize, like after the first couple days.
I think that's actually a really good point to end where we should end on. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for surviving through the only one hiccup we had tonight. But the VOD will be perfectly all put together. Don't worry, that will go up. We'll go around, let everyone say who they are, where you can find them, all of those good things. So we start. Javi unfortunately wasn't feeling well and had to go lay down, so we hope that Chris feels better soon. And you should go follow him at Chris Geary on Twitter and follow all of the great things he's doing. I know he's got a stream coming up on channel Otherdoc for
Electric
Bastion.
Yeah.
And you should go check that out next week. It should be really good. I love it. The psychedelic, the aesthetic is absolutely gorgeous. But then, PB, where can we find you? What are you doing? How are you? Share some love. All the good things.
Hi. Oh, hi. What's up? Hi guys. How are we all doing today? I'm PB from twitch.tv/PB Plays Inside, and on Twitter you can find me on at PB Plays Inside. I'm coming off an entire week of streaming Destiny 2 for ungodly amounts of time because a new expansion just came out, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. And the fun continues on next week, although not as many hours. But I will still be streaming because I still have a lot of grinding to do as the clock winds down on the raid that's coming out on Friday. And I have myself a day one group, so I look forward to streaming that on Friday and maybe Saturday, depending on how well or not well it goes for us on Friday. Aside from that, make sure to follow me on social media, PB Plays Inside, at pretty much everywhere, but I'm the most active on Twitter and Hive social app, I think is what it's called. And I love that Bandabras just like he over explains so much and then never explains other things. And I love that. I love that sometimes he'll be like, oh, okay, so we're going to do this because of blah, 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 blah. And then other times it's just like, all right, decision has been made. And it's like, oh, and then it's like, and now I will explain to you not why I did it, but the reasons why you shouldn't complain about it. and I adore that about Bandabras because you think you know him, but you really don't. There's still a lot more to learn under that robe and under that hat. And yeah, that is me. That's what I'm up to.
Indeed. Sounds like a great time. And then next up, hey Lynn, how you doing? How's life going for you? How are things for you tonight?
No, good. It was fun to get to see like ah meet more of these NPCs. Oh God, I'm so happy y'all got away from those dogs. Those dogs are frightening. I'm like, please don't eat Brandibus. I am terrified that their like magic null field thing like is way worse. So I'm like, at least I didn't try and take a bite of Tibian, so I'm very happy with that. Y'all had I feel bad because like, y'all had like the stressful trip, and we've had mostly just had dinners with people. But y'all had fun. Y'all had good stuff. I mean, maybe Brandibus needs a little bit of that rest. So did spend a lot of spell slots doing that. So many. But I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, all those other places. You can find my art and what I'm doing throughout the week. And actually, next week is going to be a little bit special because I'm going to take part in Games for Change charity fund for on D&D Jordan Lee's channel on Friday and Sunday. It's going to be fight against AAPI hate and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be I'm gonna play some quests, gonna play some DD, and there's gonna be a bunch of other cool games on there that I'm gonna be having through Friday through Sunday. So you guys should check that out.
Indeed. And then last but never least, the wonderfully fabulous wow. Literally right now?
Oh no.
No, something else happened. Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope Robo on Twitter, Pope Robo on Twitch. I look at all your streams. If you want to see more of this silly face, you'll have to come back next week here. And then a week from Monday is when we'll be returning over on channel Wandering VM for more Montreal by Night. As there are many questions to be answered there, like how does Arabos spend their evening after pretty much flipping off an entire Camarilla court? And, you know, Zim has deeply disturbing mommy issues. How does that play out when she comes to town? Or when a Bruja has plans? Those are things that you will see a week from Monday. But definitely be back here for more Son of Agapias Fortune because there's so much good stuff. Whether it's Theo trying so desperately to answer some of the questions that we all have, not as PCs, as players. Like, give us more but obvious background, damn it. He's so damn mysterious. So thank you, and let alone the tremendous gossip session that we just got between the high druid of the halflings and our fabulous glamour bard, who may or may not be regretting being wanted by certain things. And then we come to our intercontinental ballistic halfling, to trying to keep everyone safe as possible. And I think terribly so now Bandibris is starting to rub off on Tibian a little bit, like the entire like we're going to just softly creep up these stairs / ladder before going in. Whereas I think Tibian may be rubbing off on Bandibris because he's getting a bit more blasé about things. It's still trapped. Can't possibly be trapped. Oh, wait, spell of decomp. Oh, there's the paranoia. And we're back. So it has been an absolute blast seeing these characters begin to, you know, rub off on one another. And thank you all being here to share in this. Where live VOD YouTube stories, nothing without its audience, and much part of this as we are. Take care of yourselves well there. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Indeed. And then I get to go at the end. Everybody, I am your friendly neighborhood Prax at Deirdre on Twitter, or Praxgorthasmaphoria is you see me around here on Twitch, or Prax the Bard over on Hive, where you can follow me and I talk about stuff. And some of it is stuff about food, which is going to be fun. But for us, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out through these random Twitch blips that I have absolutely no idea or way to fix it. But we have a clean VOD that I've been recording that will go up on YouTube. I guess that's just the way it's going to be for right now. We will be... Oh yes, I forgot. We have... You know, if you want to support what we do here, if you really enjoyed this, if you want to check out you can check out the YouTube, where you can follow, like, and subscribe and do all of the things. Actually, yes, please, if you get to the end of any of our videos, please click like on them. It does actually help algorithms, apparently. And if you also want to help support us out over here, we have two ways you can do that. We have the merch store, where there's some merch for some of our series going up. The Which Yonto Are You line, the Congratulations on Your Paper Trail line from the Mechton games, the We're Here to Make Interesting Choices from the Mechton games, and of course the always popular When in Doubt, Blame Iago. And if you also want to support me over here, I have a Ko-Fi. You can support me over on that. All of that helps go back into run the channel, buying equipment, buying other stuff, and art overlays, all of that good stuff, including the beautiful art that you can see around here, done by the wonderfully fabulous Half-Arse Hermit. If I could spell, it would be great. They are on Twitter. Go commission them. They do beautiful character art of beautifully designed moments and expression, and so much life into all of their art. It was great. And as for me, we'll be back here tomorrow night for a fun little one-shot with a couple members of the Witcher crew. Simon's still traveling, so we're going to wait until Simon gets back next week to continue our story of the final season of Witcher Roads Home. So that gives you an extra week, if you're not caught up, to get caught up and get yourself ready for the end of the final season. We're in the final countdown, everybody, and tea is planned with Alzor. I'm sure everything will be fine. And then a week from Monday, with Pope over on Wandering DM, is I get to be a player, and we get to answer the question of hashtag Ravnos out, a window, and then back to the Ritz. You know. Consequences, what are those? Don't really care. Not my problem. You can check out the VODs for that over on Simon's YouTube, Wandering DM. And then I've been doing some little pop-up video game streams, going back and forth between Dragon Age Origins and Coral Island right now, because I'm that kind of person. And for those of you who've been around this channel for a while, since it's very early days and its very beginning, I have merely two things to tell you. Number one, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You are wonderful and fabulous individuals. As you can see, I've got a goal up to kind of round out the numbers. I think that round numbers are nice, and reaching 500 followers on Twitch would be great. And 50 subs would be even better, but I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And number two, I broke out Excel the other night to start making new tables. And on that note, if you can guess what that is, you can leave a comment in the YouTube comments of this video or any place else you can find me and try and guess what that means. But we should send some love out into the universe because we enjoy sharing things with everyone else. And we're gonna go raid High Shelf Collective. They are some great people. They are saying something creepy and spooky tonight. But we'll go send them some love. And until next time, everybody. Bye.